Hello, this is Devin Poe, and I am going to present to you a little bit about state diagrams. So, what is a state diagram? From what I understand, the state diagrams are different from what we've done up until this point, so like use case diagrams and the like, because it describes only a single state, or rather a performance of actions in response to explicit events. So instead of having like a flow chart where it shows all possible routes, like the top one we have here, it's going to show, it would have two different diagrams, one for each action taken. So something like this. This would appear tedious. Oh, sorry, went too fast. This may appear tedious, but it can help you keep track of where you are in your program during execution. Plus, it kind of unfolds whatever you put in your previous graph, flowcharts, or diagrams. Another good example would be while doing a do loop. See, in other diagrams, it would simply say executing do loop prints out 10 messages, while a state diagram would show how each time the message is printed out, the counter is also incremented. And I'll show that a little bit later in my diagram. I believe it's slide 6, but there's a specific way to draw state diagrams, and this is these are the symbols that you would use. States represent situations during the life of an object, and you can easily illustrate a state in by using a rectangle with rounded corners. A solid arrow represents a path between different states of an object. Label the transition, or you should label the transition with the events that triggered it and the actions that result from it. A state can have a transition that points back to itself. An initial state is represented by a circle that is filled in, and it represents, well, the object's initial state. The final state represents the object's final state, and it is a filled-in circle with a circle around it. Then there is synchronization and splitting of control. A short, heavy bar with two transitions entering it represents a synchronization of control, and the first bar is often called a fork, where the single transition splits into concurrent multiple transitions. The second bar is called a join, where the concurrent transition reduces back into one. Here's an example now of some of those state diagrams that we were talking about. Wow, the quality is really bad on that picture. Didn't realize that, sorry. That's just the easiest way to take it from SmartDraw. So this kind of represents how there are two different states that would be running, that there would be a blocked and then halted, and it would come back to the ready state. I kind of like this one a little bit better though, because it shows, for example, right here, which is what I was talking about earlier. It represents up to 3 times in the counter less than equals 3, counter plus plus, and it shows how it would do it 3 times. But it does have, once again, the start state goes to the idle, and then the insertion of the card, verification, do ask for PIN number, search record, valid PIN number equals the input PIN number, and it goes into a little bit more detail of what each state is, but also what's going on inside of the code. I mean, obviously it does with each state, but yeah, it's a little bit more what line the code is taking. Where are we now? What has happened up to this point? What variables are stored? What objects have been initiated? Things like that. Anyways, so that's my little presentation on state diagrams, and I hope you liked it, and you have a great day.